or whether it is Iran, and I think it very possibly could be, they should be shot down. We are not getting the full deal, and the military is on alert with this.
Look, you've given us some pretty dire information just here, and I want to make sure that our viewers are digesting this. Iran has the capability to pull up along our eastern seaboard and launch drones the size of an SUV into the skies of several states.
Congressman, how are you? That's an amazing series of photos you have behind you there. It's awesome.
Good people, good Americans, and I'm proud to have them up there, absolutely. And I'm proud to be on your show. Thank you for having me on.
That's right. Ronald Reagan survived an assassination attempt. One of the other Republican to have survived assassination attempts, along with Teddy Roosevelt. It's a pretty epic group of Republican presidents that Donald Trump is amongst.
Well, I've said to President Trump, and I speak to him on a pretty regular basis, we have a special relationship because of the way I came to be in the Republican Party. And I tell him he should be so careful. And I believe at this point, he should have his own elite group, whether it's some Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, whoever else, along with the Secret Service, just to protect him. The bowels of hell are going to be opened up against him. We are trying to make the most significant change in a good way, to our American government that has been made in modern history. It's a big deal, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want to stop it. There's going to be a lot of people who don't want the truth to be known.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly horrifying that there are, they call them drones, okay? Not exactly sure what they are. Nobody's captured one, brought one down, flying over Bedminster. It's flying over his home. I mean, the dude lives in New Jersey for half the year. So the president lives in New Jersey, and there are these aircraft that nobody's been forthcoming with us about what they are or where they're from, and they're flying over President Trump's house. Are we a real country? Like, are we a real nation? There's a lot of military bases in your state, sir. A lot of patriotic, great, wonderful, beautiful people in your state that serve our country. They don't deserve to have, like, these things flying over their military bases, Trump's house.
This is the usual pablum that we expect from this administration. They don't know what they are. They don't know who's sending them. They don't know what they're about. They don't know what they contain. They haven't in any way taken one or more of them down to study them and see what they are. They say that it obviously just can't be a backyard hobbyist. Now, let me be clear. There are some people who are misidentifying some. Some of them are just stars. Some of them are airplanes. Some of them are backyard hobbyists. But there are ones that have been seen by extremely reputable people, including the Coast Guard. I'll tell you a story, and I haven't said this to everybody yet. We got a call a few days ago, and this isn't classified anymore, from the nuclear power plant in New Jersey, in Salem County, the Salem nuclear power plant. And they said, these aren't a few guys in the backyard downing some beers here. These are real people with gravitas, right? And they said that there were 2 drones that came within the periphery of the nuclear power plant that were the size of minivans or SUVs that were in the air and hovered for a while. And they are so concerned that they have now asked for their airspace to be a no-fly zone, to be restricted airspace. In the entire history of the nuclear power plant over decades, they've never asked for that before. These are real people. They're serious people. So this administration, they're trying to they have their deputy press secretary come out and say, almost like, you're looking down on you. It's almost the elitist attitude, like you're a jackass that's overreacting because you're talking about this. No, it's a real thing. And the bottom line is, and I'll say this real quickly, are they just all backyard hobbyists? Obviously not. These drones are too sophisticated, some of them. Or is it a company that's a drone company within the continental United States that are doing experiments and testing prototypes? No, they would never do it that way. They would never want to risk angering the government to whom they sell these drones. Is it the government themselves? Well, they swear it's not. They are telling us it's not, which only leaves a foreign entity. I mean, there's only so many ways to go here. Bottom line here, the bottom line is this is either a case of gross stupidity or a cover-up or both.
Congressman, I'm glad you brought that up because you made massive news, and we covered it when you said that this could be an Iranian mothership launching drones off our coast. And we've had members of the military and law enforcement in your home state of New Jersey, also mayors, come on and respond to that. Many had differing responses. Some people called that preposterous. I wanted to give you an opportunity, given the threat assessment and maybe some intel briefings that you've received on this subject. Do you still believe that?
They're not going to tell you this in intel. And I'm not saying that it definitely was. I never, ever indicated that. Here's the deal. Individuals with top security clearance, numerous sources, came to me because of my involvement with this technology, because I am in the aviation subcommittee. So my office has worked with a lot of different people, including military, on this. They could not reveal who they were because they were afraid they were going to lose their job. They were concerned that our government wasn't monitoring any of it well enough. The sightings that were occurring in New Jersey and in the United States over whether it was a nuclear power plant or military facilities, et cetera, Bedminster, and we're also concerned that the Iranians do have ships. They have 3 of them that were in port in Iran, and that almost a month ago, one of them left. Now, we know now that they're back. They're still not in port, but they're in the southern part of Iran in the sea. But when it left, nobody can track or tell you where it went. And so these individuals were concerned that not right offshore, nobody was going to be, at the beach looking, in South Jersey, looking out and seeing an Iranian. And by the way, they are called motherships. That's not some weird thing that I made up or anybody made up. That is the vernacular. That is the terminology that is used in the drone industry, because these ships that we don't have, because we are a full decade behind China, no exaggeration, in this industry and in this technology, these ships have the ability to allow drones to take off, to land, and to be hidden. It's similar to an aircraft carrier. And we don't know where it was. That's shameful. It's shameful the government didn't report on it. Nobody is expecting the United States government to report top secret information. So if they're testing prototypes or they're doing a search and they want to say everything's safe, but we just can't tell you the details, people would accept that. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying it's not them, almost basically it's not real. And the few that there's no explanation for, we don't know who they are, where they're coming from, what they're about, what they're doing, but we're not taking any of them down, even though you could take them down safely over the ocean or in a remote area. How can that make sense? Again, it's either gross stupidity or it's a cover-up or a combination of all of it. And I'll tell you, if today they tell us what it's about and have discovered what's going on, they are a day late and a dollar short.
So what you are proposing here, Congressman, and again, you have access to information that we certainly don't and knowledge that we certainly don't. You're still leaving open the potential for this to be what would be a foreign invasion and or act of war. You have to just assume if you're flying thousands of drones over a state, this would be an act of war by a foreign entity. You still contend that that might be what's happening here.
No, I'm not contending that might be what's happening. I'm saying that it's something that needed to be explored and to get a handle on, which they don't have. And, by the way, the satellite imagery that they use to prove that that's not occurring now, because the drone ship is back in Iranian waters, the satellite imagery they use is from a private satellite service that's doing that. The government didn't even do that. What I'm contending is they aren't being truthful with us. They don't have a handle on it. And, currently, is that what's happening? No, because currently those ships are back where they're supposed to be, right around Iran. Still not in port, but in that area. But, my concern was 2 things. One, when I have people with top security clearance come to me, and they didn't say it was a definite, but that there was a possibility and it needed to be explored and it was being ignored by the government, it was enough. So my job, I believed, was to be honest with the American people and to light a fire under their backside to come out and do something. Finally, in the last couple of days, now they're sending in technology, drone monitoring technology, infrared cameras, because some of them, the infrared cameras will show those that are planes, those that are mistaken sightings, but some of them are real. The majority of them now may not even be real because there's a lot of copycats, but they were real And obviously the sources I just quoted to you, whether the Coast Guard, whether the nuclear plant, whether retired military, whether law enforcement, are all there, that there's something there. This is bizarro world. We don't know what it is, but we know that everything's okay. You know, I liken it to this. It's almost like going into a doctor's office and saying, I have severe pain in my chest. I can't even stand up. And the doctor looks at you and says, hey, I have no idea what that is, but I know that you're okay. Come on, let's really tell the truth and figure out what this is. Do our job as a government.
So we've lived through the Chinese spy balloon episode, and we've also lived through East Palestine, and there seems to be these converging theories here that potentially the government is maybe using their own drones through a secret program that they can deny to sniff out potentially a radioactive material leak, a dirty bomb, something like that from a terrorist splinter cell. I mean, we do know that thousands of people on the terrorist watch list freely waltzed into the country, and the federal government lost control of them. They lost them. Do you believe that something like that could potentially be happening in your state?
There's any potential. You see here, the problem is if they leave this void, if they don't help the American people understand what's going on, and again, not top secret stuff. I get there's some things they can't tell us, but simply to say, we are testing prototypes or we are searching for something. Everybody's going to be okay, but you're going to see our stuff out there. People are going to accept that. But you know what they don't accept? The constant pattern, particularly with this administration and people around them, whether it was, you know what, I'm on the Judiciary Committee as well. Let's talk about how many times we've been lied to. We were lied to that President Biden was cognitively just fine. He was sharp as a tack, sharper than anybody else, obviously an untruth. Then we were lied to about the spy balloon. It was nothing to worry about. We were making a big deal over some hobbyist balloon. Obviously, it was from China. And as it exited the country, after going through a wide swath, we finally shot it down after it had received and transmitted information already. Or if you want to go to the FBI, which you were just talking about a little time ago, again, I'm on that committee and I questioned the Attorney General and the FBI Director and others. The FBI told we're going to send individuals into Roman Catholic churches that were traditional, and because they considered them domestic terrorists. Originally, we were told in committee, absolutely untrue, didn't happen, but we got a hold of the actual emails, and they eventually had to apologize. Or when President Trump said that there was a laptop that Hunter Biden had, and we said so as well, over 50 Intel officers, former Intel officers, came out and said, absolutely untrue, that isn't true. And of course, we know that the laptop exists. Or when we were told that there was Russian collusion between President Trump and Russia in order to win the last election. And then finally, we got an independent report, the Durham report, which detailed, no, it was a guy by the name of Igor Danchenko that fed this false information to the FBI. By the way, they paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars. He was a bad international actor, admitted he lied, and that the whole thing was a big lie. They had to apologize for that. We caught him. Or Facebook, when Facebook was working with the White House, and they said, no, we're not doing anything, we're not censoring people. And then we got a hold of the internal emails again. This is all through whistleblowers, the kind of people that came to me individually over the drone issue and showed that there were emails back and forth from the White House to Facebook, and Zuckerberg had to come to Washington and apologize to us and say, no, it was wrong. He'll never do it again. It's over and over and over again. And you wonder why people don't believe. I love America. I always believe in America, but not when you do things like this. Not when this administration bastardizes our country by doing this kind of stuff. It's wrong. You need to tell the truth.
Yes, it's wrong. It's the opposite of creating safety and security. Is terrorizing your home state.
We're scaring people.
It's truly terrorizing, right? You can't just fly these SUV. We've had mayors and law enforcement officials from New Jersey packed on the show, and everyone's scared and everyone's worried about what this means for them. And they're real. I mean, these credible people, mayors of big cities that have come on this program and said, we've seen them with our own eyes. They're SUV-sized drones, and they're buzzing our homes. And you can see them with your naked eye standing in the middle of the road. And so someone's operating them. It's totally and completely insulting. I share your outrage as a congressman from the fine state of New Jersey. You say people should be held accountable for their lies. We have the January 6th report out from the Government Oversight Subcommittee this morning saying that Liz Cheney effectively colluded with Cassidy Hutchinson to change her testimony illegal, to do it outside of the bounds of the law and outside of the vision of her attorney illegal, and then deleted all the evidence illegal. What do you think should happen to Liz Cheney?
Oh, she should be she should be in trouble for this, obviously. And I don't know all of the legal ramifications of what you could do to her, but she obviously is discredited, and I think in most people's minds was discredited all along. Her own personal hatred, and that's what it is. It's an actual hatred, has actually tainted her so much that she is someone who is not viable, and their word means nothing. But here we go again. Here we go again. People were told one thing, and now we're finding out more and more it wasn't the truth. God Almighty, here's the deal. The government, the executive branch, Congress, we work for the people. The people don't work for us. We have a responsibility to Americans and to our people to tell them the truth and to make sure that we're protecting them and that they feel reassured. This is the worst example of all what's going on right now with the drones. But January 6th is an example. The things I spoke about before with Facebook and with Russian collusion and the laptops as an example. How far we have strayed. You know, you look at the individuals behind me, Ronald Reagan, Thomas Jefferson, and all these presidents that I have, are rolling over in their graves. This is not the America we know and love. We got to bring America back home for everybody, whether you're liberal or conservative, Democrat or Republican. I mean, we want freedom. This is not freedom. This is not what a free country does. This is what totalitarian states do.
Yeah, in closing here, you're from a totalitarian state in the sense that I saw what your governor did during the COVID lockdowns and how they treated their constituents and permanent mail-in ballots for everyone and the fraud that's been going on, and some of these beautiful hamlets around New Jersey is like really atrocious, and some of it's been federally charged, some of it not, but we've been covering it all. And we'd love to see the state change, and there's a dude out there named Scott Pressler who says that New Jersey could become a swing state and become a swing state very, very quickly, and could be turned into a red state and could go the way of Pennsylvania, as we've seen, and then eventually Florida, right? So you Florida, Pennsylvania, and then you turn New Jersey into the next Pennsylvania, where you start registering voters and winning. And do you see that happening? Do you see New Jersey as a swing state?
So this is something I know about. If you remember, well over a year ago, President Trump came to me, and again, I have a real friendship with the man. And he said, listen, you're from New Jersey. He loves New Jersey. He lives half the year in New Jersey. He says, I want to see if we can win it. Now, they couldn't put money or people on the ground because they had to concentrate on the states that we knew to be swing states. They did the right thing. They had to do what they needed to do. I said, Mr. President, I'm out there. I have a gut. We can really do something here. Our first thing we did is we had this rally in Wildwood, which isn't my district, as a matter of fact. We had 102,000 people at least. You could feel the energy. Something was really going on. And we worked throughout the state to try to get the vote out early with some good people that helped us. And this was with no money and nobody on the ground. But we had a plan. And damn it, we got within 5 points. The truth is, probably if we had money and people on the ground, we could have won this damn thing. But I get why you couldn't do that. You really had to go with the known entities of the swing states and what polling was showing. But you can feel it out there. New Jersey is an amazing state, has so much potential. They make fun. You talked about Governor Murphy. They call it, people who are just disgusted with what he and others have done to this state, the People's Republic of New Jersey. It doesn't have to be that way. A lot of hardworking people, a lot of good people. Not everybody are people that recently came from Manhattan, are wealthy bourgeois people that just always believe in this Democratic mantra. We've got lots of real people who break their back and work hard every single day. And I believe we can do something in New Jersey. So I look forward to that. Scott's help, I certainly will help. I worked hard over this presidential, and I think the numbers show what can be done, and I just pray and hope it can be done. We want to win this next gubernatorial because we got to do better than we're doing in New Jersey. So much potential.
Yes, that's right. We look forward to you joining with Scott Pressler and flipping that state. I mean, you flip New Jersey, Democrats have a really tough path to get to 270. You start carving up that eastern seaboard, and you start with New Jersey. Man, it's like the math becomes very difficult.
We are not New Jersey, a little California. We're a different state.
Yes. In closing here, I did have to get your commentary, Congressman, with a very important bit of evidence, direct evidence, we think, physical evidence of where and what may be causing the drones over your state. We have it here for you to see. I'm not sure if you can see. And this is what the president posted. Donald Trump does get the president's daily brief. He does get national intel security briefing. And so he does have a lot of information that we don't have. And so maybe your comment on this. I'm not sure. Seems like a pretty crisp photo. Yeah, I'm not sure if you took it. Maybe it's you. That you may have leaked this to President Trump. You can tell us now, live on the program.
It was not me, but I think maybe it explains why there were so many drones and why there's such large drones. And I'll leave it at that.
The McRib is back. It's like,
what can I tell you? These pictures will never end. All the memes, there's still more. I saw one the other day with him up on a drone doing something in his beach chair. I think riding a drone. It will never end. But briefly, look, I wish nobody ill will, but I was a state senator while he was the governor, and I was a Democrat. I was always a conservative. Weirdly enough, there used to be conservative Democrats. They are gone. There is no such thing anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. But I was a conservative Democrat state senator in the state of New Jersey, and I worked with him. He did some good things as a governor, and I just don't. Again, what a lesson of this, the big lesson, don't let your personal animosity and your personal feelings get in the way with your service to the people of the United States of America or your state. And I think the governor has gone astray. I just do. And hopefully he'll get back on track, but it's been disappointing.
Yes. Our team is very quick on this program. We are built for the internet. And we did have that meme. You did mention
Boy, that
it.
is quick. See, hey, so I don't make stuff up, right?
You mentioned it, Congress. That's exactly right. You mentioned it, Congress.
You gotta love it, though.
I'm not. I'm not sure. This is. Is Chris Christie working with Iran? To be part of.
He says not. He was on Stephanopoulos the other day and criticizing me for saying anything about it, but. Nevertheless,
I personally think it's our government. I personally think it's our government flying these things. But it could very well be Chris Christie's McDonald's orders.
Well, and again, just to reiterate, and I'm sorry to go back to it, but if it is our government, they are lying to us. There's no need for them to do that. If it is not our government, they are profoundly stupid because they should absolutely been taking them down. You don't have to shoot them down. You can do it in a safe way. There's multiple ways. They should be taking them down and discover who it is. But to just see what it is, though, it's a profound disrespect for American people.
Just for your digital comms staffer, if the next interview we do, you want to hang the memes behind you in the chair, I think it'd be fitting, given the subject matter. Thank
I
you,
will let her know.
Thank you, Congressman, for being such a great sport. Obviously, this is a time you either get a chance to yell and scream. You get done yelling and screaming about it. Sometimes you just gotta make fun of it because it's so absurd, and we're so excited for January 20 and watching you up there with President Trump. I know you two are strong allies, and you've been such a great defender of the president. Godspeed, Merry Christmas, Congressman.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you and all the people who watch you, and let's bring in a golden age next year to the United States of America.
Boom.
Right back at you.